I mean, people buy the homes. I mean, you know, that's what this financing, that's why we go this route, is because we are servicing a market, really what's probably the largest market there is, and the largest field of potential buyers that there is out there, and there aren't many people doing it. So it's the greatest need and the least demand, and so we're meeting that need. And all it takes for us is just to find that one person. So we sell, and I can confidently, I'm not going to say we sell every single home, but we sell these homes, and that's what we do, and we're good at it, and we've been doing it for 10 years. So,
Garland, how many of
let me turn this over to Roger.
One comment, like, the question was, if you didn't hear it, what if, after all this creative and all these minds, we still don't sell the home? What if the ceiling tile falls on my roof? And what if there's another earthquake? What if, is there any end to that?
No, no.
And what I don't worry about is, if there is another 9/11, another is an earthquake, it's not just affecting me. If there's another 9, I have bigger things to worry about than my 30% return. There's a lot, so all of those things, but in the long run, they all seem to work itself out. So you can make contingency plan on everything, and if you can, show me, then we'll keep on adding that. But other than that, just, hey, there comes a point that you gotta just like, take action now. And literally, where's Denise? I think she's outside. She just bought the last vacant pool, and one more pool, so we have one more pool left. That's all we have left for one more pool. If you want it, please grab it.
We have 3. One pool with this is the only pool available, we just went over. This pool is available.
This particular pool is available.
And let me finish it when you're done. I want to just finish what I did.
Now, why don't you just say that,
And 2 vacant. How much is that
and
pool?
2 vacant ones, I'm
How much is
sorry.
that pool cost?
54,123.
Okay, so we have, give me 1 second, Tom. Just to finish this. So you invested, when this is done, when these are sold, you've invested $54,123. Everything works out like Garland said. You end up netting $1,000 after that $1,500 fee for these houses. You end up getting $1,000. So you've invested $53,123. The payments you're collecting are $1,393.60. You're paying $25 a month for us to service each note. So I took that off. That's $100. You got $1,293.60. Everybody pays coming to you.
We lowered it from 35 to 25.
It's after 10 houses, you go to 25. Okay? All right, you got no maintenance. You got no phone calls. You got nothing going on. You've signed all your contracts. That's all your work is. You paid, you signed your contracts. We're doing everything else. You've got $1,293 invested. I calculated this just for simplicity based on this having 240 months left, so just you can get a little bit different number, but for this, you invested 53, you've got an annual return of 29%. It'll be a little bit lower because that IPP is only 82 payments, but I don't know where you can get, it speaks for itself. We have 3 pools left. We want to try to meet with everybody. If you're not quite ready to buy, but you have some questions and you want to get confidence, we want to talk to you one-on-one and answer your questions. But if you are interested in a pool and you want to make sure somebody doesn't beat you to it, please come grab me, Kent, Garland, or Roger and say, I want to sit down, answer a couple questions, I'll get my questions answered, I'm ready to buy. So we want to make sure we don't miss anybody that's serious and ready.
My question was, since these people are now on title, do they have the ability to go down to their local bank and get a loan?
They're not on title. Remember, the title stays in your name. They get a land contract. When they make their last payment, you have to give them the deed. Okay, but they are able to refinance. And I personally have had people refinance. Unfortunately, it seems to always be one of my IRA people, which I guess is good because I don't have to pay taxes on that. But so they can refinance.
Good thing.
At that point, when they call me and say they want to refinance, if their principal balance is $38,700, I'll say I'll knock $2,500 off if you refinance. My return goes through the roof, because I just got say it takes them a year, and I knock 2,500 off, for easy math, let's just say it's that, so I get 36.5, 13.9 in it, it's 100% return. More than 100%, 280.
Your return.
My head.
And another thing that we haven't even talked about is that instead of discounting the note, like if you need the cash today, we're going to talk about note. You can sell it at closing and get out, but you're going to take a heavy discount. But if you don't need it, keep the note for 2 years, 3 years, and in that process, we're going to put the buyer, through a credit program to increase their credit. And if they're making payments 2 years on time, and then now they can get financing, and even it's 12%. Even if they get an 8%, will that be pretty awesome for them? No, we're talking about 3, 4, 5%. I'm talking about if they can lower it to single digit from 12%, 8, 9%, it'd be a significant payment reduction for them, and cashes you out in 2, 3 years, and you didn't have to discount a penny. Talk about your return at that point. That is really cool. So you can even pay for same things. Let's say it costs $500 for the credit repair. If you paid for them and added to the purchase price, that $500, now you're collecting 12% on your $500 that you just lent them, and then be done with it.
How is the buyer able to refinance it when they're not actually on?
No, they're not. Then at that point, because they're going there showing the contract,
Sure what?
showing the contract to the bank. Say, I've got this property. I'm living there. It's on my contract. I've been making payments for 2 years.
They show
Things
the
like
land, contract.
Yeah.
The bank will finance
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Okay.
And these lending guidelines are getting, I should say, all the old loans are coming back. It's all I can say. All the old loans are coming back. It's amazing. Nobody learned anything from last time. I'm like, didn't you? This is the reason. We've got into the mess. They're all coming back. Amazing.
In this case, we pay the marketing fee, you folks then find us a buyer.
Yes.
So you have a lot of determination of who you decide is qualified, not, et cetera.
Yes.
How do you work it if 3, 4 months in, this buyer we all got in, we hope work done?
Yes.
What's your policy, what are your fees to replace that buyer? How's that go, within a short window or the long term, et cetera?
Good. We addressed this yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry, but-
No, that's all right, it's a great question. And we hope that these questions will come up 2 or 3 times so everybody gets it, because we understand. So the question was,
What if the tile falls on my head?
so we've sold the home, 6 months later, that person stops performing, and what do we do and what do we charge?
No.
We will work with them, we're not the bank.
Right.
We're not complicated, it's common sense stuff. We've been talking to these people on the phone, not just sending them statements, working with them, so we have a relationship with them. We'll even pull our original asset manager in to the scenario to work on that relationship, because they built it in the beginning. And they'll talk to them and say, what can we do to help you? And a lot of times, out of just sheer embarrassment and guilt, they'll say, look, I really feel bad that we're letting you guys down. It's that deep of communication. So they'll say, I'll move, but my aunt wants the house. Or they've got the house sold to someone else often, believe it or not. And if you don't pursue me in the courts and you work with me and I work with you, we're all in agreement. Sometimes we have to give them some help to move. Sometimes it's $400 or $500 to actually help them actually load the truck and move.
More honey than vinegar.
But our policy is here, on the Winter Circle only, we will replace that buyer. We will remarket that property. If it's inside of 12 months,
Okay.
we'll remarket that property for you, no fees.
Okay, that's,
So
yeah, so look, the people just disappear, there's nobody to work with.
sometimes they just disappear and leave the
So,
house.
yeah, so within 12 months, you're.
Yeah.
that's
Within 12 months,
great.
we're going to resell that property for you. And by the way, usually it's in better condition now because it's been painted, fixed up. It's a lot better condition. We'll get more down payment and more money for the house. So it's a good day when they pay on time, but it's even a better day when they don't. Yes.
In the case of a stubborn, what's the legal procedure for getting out?
What is the legal procedure to get someone out of a house that's stubborn, not paying, and not moving? Well, there are different laws across the country.
Right.
So, yeah, if it's in Detroit, we send Guido to the door. We do have a 6'7" guy, about 400 pounds, walks up to the door, knocks on the door, and does serve the notice. But that's usually enough right there. But
There is a legal process.
he's really a gentle giant. But the truth is, what we do to answer that question is,
There is the legal process.
Is it a regular eviction process?
in most states it is.
In-
In most states, it's a land contract is a rent, it's like an eviction, a rental eviction. Now, in Florida or California, that is not the case. And so, they might treat it like a foreclosure. That's why we don't let it get that far. We're gonna work it out with them. They don't wanna be sued, and they don't want the liability. And if they get an out that makes sense, and usually that's the guy that, or gal, you have to give them some money and give them cash for keys. And you tell them, this house can't have even a phone book on the floor when you leave, and we'll give you that money, and they'll get out. There's a lot of other things that we do in those states. We might, and we're gonna get maybe a little more into that as we talk about notes. So it can be very complicated, very simple. In the 10 years I've been doing this, I've only been to court twice. Both times I stood before the judge and said, Judge, here's what we offered these people over and over and over. Here's the proof. We would have paid them to leave. We have given them this house. We've worked with them, modified this over and over and over, and the judge is like, if you didn't take advantage of that, you're done. And so, but we never like it to get there. We never, it's common sense stuff. But like I said, banks can't do it. They don't have the leverage. You're a private investor. You have a lot more liberty than a lender or a bank would. Yes.
Tax and insurance, would the homeowner get their own, they get the tax bill?
You're still entitled,
You're still entitled to
so
yours.
you're gonna get the tax notice, and you're gonna scan it or mail it, forward it to us.
We collect from the buyer,
Oh, okay.
we escrow the payment, and then when you get the tax, you send it to us and we take care of it,
Oh, okay.
on your behalf.
As a child, that you go from the home
Pardon?
From the time we,
What is the average time by the time they purchase it from the time they receive cash flow?
It depends on what stage in the process these properties are. As I mentioned, the pro on this pool is at West Helena in Columbus, Georgia, are brand new properties, which I love because there's gonna be the most activity, the fastest around those, but it's gonna take us a little longer. So it takes about 2 weeks, depending on the location, 5 to 10 business days to get our site visit back, depending on the rep and who's there, where the house is. So you have to take that into consideration. Typically our average sale's like 30 to 45 days, I would say. And that goes up or down based on how long the property's already been in our inventory. But we're adding asset managers, we're adding new technology to be able to market more and faster. And to get that time down, we're always working on getting that time down. But I would say the average is 30 to 45 days for a sale on a property. It might be on the lower end with, something that's brand new, like the bottom two, or this one's relatively a recent acquisition as well. That was like the end of May. So does that answer? That's the simple end. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but that's the overall average, I would say.
So on what basis do you pull up the property? Do you just pick randomly something and pull it, or how do you pull it?
Why did we select these
Yeah.
properties?
Yeah.
We take a lot into consideration. Sometimes it's just, it's a puzzle. Obviously, we want to try and get around the $50,000. We want to get you a good spread of a high-value property and then something closer to the lower end. So you'll see here how we've gone from 18.5 to 13.9 to 8.2. Also, we look geographically because we want to keep you spread out and diversify your portfolio. So you'll see Oklahoma, North Carolina, Arkansas, Georgia, and then also we want to make sure you have a decent mix of northern properties and and properties that are in the south as well, to kind of protect against the cold weather. Right now, it's not an issue, it's July, so we can sell properties easily anywhere. Everyone's moving regardless of where they live. But obviously, the colder states, colder cities, closer we get to the snow, we're hitting November, December, we sell properties anywhere all year long, but we just have to work harder for those sales. So, so there's several factors we take into consideration.
Any other questions? All right, so,
Are there any other fees, like paperwork that, help the tax and interest and stuff like that?
are there any other fees besides the fees we talked about, like to do the paperwork? Do we charge them for the paperwork fees to create land trusts?
I was going to mention land trusts. We do offer that as a service, and so I'm not sure the charges there. We can get you kind of a fee schedule when I get back.
I have a fee schedule, so.
But yeah, so that's optional. That you don't by any means. You can create your own land trust, and then we can deed the title to your trust, however you want it, or we can, as a service, provide that as well.
Actually, you prefer to sell in pools. Do you make exceptions and sell like individual homes, some like scattered?
After you buy your first, if you start with us with a pool, after that you can buy 1, 2, 3, or let's say you bid next month's Aquin and you want 1 bid and you can give it back to us if you are already an existing client. To become a client, you start with a pool, so that we can diversify the risk. Instead of taking one house, start with the one house, and then you have a bad case with the one house, you don't do anything.